Hey everyone, I'm Jack Scott. Thank you for tuning in for my final speech. I hope you guys enjoy. Picture this planet in the next 50 years. In all honesty, with the way the human population habitats this place, what do you see? I see two different pictures. One, on one hand, is good, and the other, not so much. In one picture, I see renewal and innovation. I see a place that has persevered through harsh conditions by the hand of diligent, hard-working people who did what it took to keep our planet safe. On the other, I see despair and I see sickness. I see a population that is suffering because they were blinded by pride and ignorance. And that is what I would like to talk to you guys about today. I'm not saying let's all rebel against fossil fuels and start living a vegan lifestyle, nor am I judging those who do. All I want to do today is be the mediator between both sides. I would like to point some things out that are important to me as a human being who would like to see my bloodline enjoy this life as much as I did. I would like to start off by outlining what it is I'm going to be speaking to you guys about today. The topic is, if you couldn't have already guessed, awareness on environmental health conditions. To go into that, I will be touching on a few subjects pertaining to the areas that are harmful to the environment, such as plastic waste, greenhouse gas emissions, and deforestation. These three components are all interconnected to each other because they all play a significant role into the reason why the environment is taking such damage. And like I have previously stated, I'm not here to tell you guys to pick a side. I'm just here to state the facts and bring to the surface a few statistics that are supported by science. Now, do I believe the world is going to blow up? No. Do I believe that there's a second flood coming? Not at all. However, I do believe that the world which provides life, food, and water for us should not be taken advantage for. Or we're just going to have to suffer the consequences. Now, let's jump right into it. What is the most durable and everlasting piece of trash you can think of? Plastic. And how much plastic do you think is being consumed around the world right now? Well, roughly 300 million tons of plastic are being consumed by the global population as of right now. So, why does that matter, you may ask? Well, because if plastic isn't disposed in the proper manner, it is dumped into landfills along with other trash, and that other trash is eventually degraded. And the problem with throwing plastic into that degradable trash is that plastic is non-degradable. In fact, plastic can release certain chemicals into the ground that can contaminate groundwater that is consumed by humans and other living creatures. In addition to that, statistics show that out of the 300 million tons of plastic consumed by humans, 8 million metric tons are being disposed into the ocean. So, for every square mile of ocean there is, 46,000 pieces of plastic are floating in the ocean, which means that every aquatic creature is consuming hundreds of pieces of plastic, which causes the animals to die. This is the reason of the aquatic ecosystem diminishing. This is pertinent to us because the aquatic ecosystem plays a significant role in the human food chain. For instance, if you like sushi, or seafood pasta, or even jambalaya, you don't want to find plastic in your seashells. So, on to the next point. Greenhouse gas emissions. Have you guys ever been driving down a freeway or a large interstate and all of a sudden a whiff of lovely cow manure just hits you like a freight train? Well, Oddly enough, that whole scenario is what plays in the environmental damage. It plays a huge role. Any type of motorized vehicle that runs on gasoline or any type of electrical equipment releases a chemical called carbon dioxide. And when any animal, even us, releases a gas, it releases a chemical called methane. These chemicals are known as greenhouse gases. A greenhouse gas plays one of the, if not the biggest part of keeping the Earth's surface warm and life abundant. These chemicals retain heat from sunlight and trap the heat close to the Earth's surface. And the heat is what also provides life to many plants, which produce energy as well as air for us. Now, the problem with our production of greenhouse gases is that we produce an overabundance of it. Now, listen closely. Studies show that human activities currently release about 37 billion metric tons of CO2 per year, which equates to about 5% of natural CO2 emissions. These natural processes absorb the equivalent of all natural emissions plus about 57% of man-made emissions, leaving an additional 16 billion metric tons of CO2 in the atmosphere each year. So, what happens to the excess CO2? Well, it remains here on the Earth's surface and causes the Earth to heat up more than it is naturally supposed to. This is the central focus as to the debate over climate change. Now, on to my final point, deforestation. Deforestation is when the Earth's forest is cleaned out on a large scale and damages the quality of the land and soil. This is a method used for agriculture, logging operations, land-developed dwellings, and natural factors such as wildfires and overgrazing. Sometimes people forget how important plants are to the environment. Now, I'm no tree hugger, but after my research, I have found a new respect for wildlife and plant life. Here's some of the benefits of plants and trees. They help preserve the water cycle by returning water vapor to the atmosphere. They act as a canopy by blocking the sun rays and keeping in the heat at night. And more importantly, they absorb greenhouse gases. If there are no trees to protect the moist soil from the sun, the forest will dry out and prevent the growth of habitation, thus killing off the possibility of species to procreate. Around 80% of land animals live in the forest. This creates a problem because, like it or not, this may sound cliche, but there's actually a circle of life. Cue the Lion King music. Sorry if that was cheesy, but plants produce habitation, habitation attracts wildlife, and wildlife provides food and other resources for us. So, if I had shed some light on some ideas that are foreign to you, allow me to provide you some tips on how to help the cause. For plastic waste, use the Triple R method. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. For greenhouse gases, cut back on the meat and dairy and work some vegetables into your diet, as well as monitor how you commute from place to place. If it is close enough, ride a bike or even take your dogs with you on a walk. For deforestation, help, donate, or speak out on reforestation. Reforestation is for every tree that is planted, plant another tree. And for every tree that is taken out, plant another tree. So, that concludes my final speech. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for listening, and y'all have a good day.